everyone. This is the first movie for Word Chapter 2, Pause and Practice number 1. So I'm going to start off by, we're in Blackboard. I went to Lessons and I found Word Chapter 2. I'm going to go to the Assignments tab, find the Word Chapter 2, Pause and Practice, and I can see that there are 4 pause and practice, so my file name is going to end with a 4 when I'm all done with the chapter, and I can see that there is a document that I need to download to start with. So I'm going to click on that, and since I am in Chrome, it's down here in my tray. I'm going to click on resume.doc, and it's going to bring that up. I am going to turn right away and do a file, save as, we're going to save as, and then wherever you're going to put your files, I'm going to put it out here, it's going to be your initials, so that's my initials, you would use yours, PP for pause and practice, W for Word, this is chapter 2, dash, and I know there's going to be 4, so I'm just going to go ahead and name it with a 4 on the end. That way I don't have to keep changing the name. So that's one of the things that I like to do, is just end it with whatever the last pause and practice is going to be. I'm going to go ahead and turn and save that, and now I have this document up. So now I can begin my working on this document. So the first thing that we're going to do is change the margins of this resume. So to do that kind of work, we're going to go to the Layout tab on the ribbon, and if you see this first group, it's called Page Setup, and then we repeat the paragraph back from home, the paragraph group, but there's this Page Setup, and so this is where you would go to change your margins, to change it from portrait to landscape, to put columns in there, to do page breaks, section breaks, those type of things are in this group. So the first thing I'm going to do then is pick this margin button. We're going to go all the way to the bottom and pick custom margins, because I don't want any of these pre-made ones. Those are good, but for this particular circumstance, they're not going to work. So I'm going to pick my own margins. So it brings up the Page Setup dialog box, and I want to do in the top margin, I want to do 0.75, and then in the bottom, so over here on the right, 0.75. The left is going to be 1, so I'm just going to use the down arrow to click the 1. The right is going to be 1. So I have 0.75 top, 0.75 bottom, 1 inch left, 1 inch right margins. I want to make sure that it says apply to the whole document, and then we're going to go ahead and do OK. And you saw my document shift. All right, so the next thing we're going to work with is tabs. So tabs are, and one of the things that I always do, and it comes up naturally for me because of my settings, but if you come over here to View in the Show, click on the ruler, and then you will have your ruler displayed. And I think it helps visualize your document both across the page and down. And so tabs are stops that you can place across the document that when you use the tab stop, it goes to that tab mark. So when it goes to that tab mark, you can have different kinds of tabs. You could have a left align tab, which is normally what we envision. So this is the picture for the left, which would mean if I, let me get a new document, just kind of show you. If I hit my tab, let me see, I'm going to put a tab right there, 1 inch, maybe. If I hit tab, I go to that tab stop and I start typing, right? So everything moves to the right. So if I go to the next line and I hit tab, it is aligned on the left where that tab stops. So that's considered a left aligned tab. I'm going to use this and I'm going to click, and look at what that picture looks like. That looks like a center, right? So from this point, I'm going to drag that off and I'm going to put a center there. So now I'm going to hit tab. It goes to the tab stop. But watch what happens when I do this, right? It centers in that, around that tab stop, right? So that would be considered a center tab. The next kind we can look at is a right align. So I'm going to drag that off and put a right align. So I'm going to tab. Once again, it goes to the tab stop, but now watch my text when I type. Hey, it moves to the left. I went too far. And, oops, I'm going to hit tab, and it aligns on the right. So tab, it aligns on the right. So that is considered a right align tab. Let's go one more. And it's a center with, has a little dot. So let me bring that up. Tab 100. So notice it's going to the left. Point 50. 1000. It is aligned at the decimal, right? That's what this decimal is. So everything everything you type would go to the left until you hit a decimal point, and then it would go to the right, so that you can align a set of numbers, okay? So those are the main types of tabs. The only other thing that you can do are what is known as leaders. So that would be from the point that you typed, so let me come here, and that would, I don't want that one, let's see, let's do that one, that you would have a leader. So you could have dots, you could have dashes, you could have an underline. So I'm gonna set that, and then look, what that does is from the point that you hit your tab key, right, so there's my tab, till the tab stop, it puts that leader in there. So if you envision a book, like a table of contents, where you might say chapter 1, and then I want to come over here, drag that off, and put a right align tab, right? Oops, I went around. Let's say I'm going to put it right there. And I want to make it a dot leader, so I'm going to put that on my 4-inch. When I hit tab, oops, that's not a set it. So 4-inch to set, okay. Tab, page 1, chapter 2, page 100. Okay, so I use my tab to get over there. It puts the dots in there, and it's a right align, so my page numbers are all aligned. Let me turn that off so you can see a little better, right? So that would be an example of the use of tabs. All right, so let's get out of this and go back to what we're actually working on, right? So that's this document. Where am I at on time? Okay. So I want to set a right tab stop with a dash leader. So because this is already typed in, I have to select the text that I want to apply this to. So I'm going to select where it says Loomis, California, October, right there, right? So I'm going to select that line, right? So I can use my out here to select. It selects the line, and that's below head teacher. That's correct. We're going to go into the paragraph mark, and down here at the bottom is the tabs, and it's going to get you to the screen that you saw me clicking on the mark. So once you have tabs, you can just click on them to get to here. It saves a little time, but this is where you would go to set them originally. So one way too. Okay, so we're going to do 6.5. So I'm going to type 6.5. So that's saying I want to put a tab at 6.5. Hey, that's the end of the line. Well, that's where I want my tab stop. And I want it to be a right, because when I hit tab, I want this text to be aligned over there on the right. And I want it to have a dash, which is this one right here, number 3. So this is all well and good. I have the spot, the alignment, if there's a leader, but notice that this box is empty. I have not set this tab yet. So I must come here and say set. It takes that and moves it from here into this box, and that's cool. So that's what we want. So we're going to go ahead and do OK. And because if we turn on our codes, a tab was already used when the person typed this in, it automatically took that. Nice. Okay, I'm going to stop here because we're going to do the Format Painter on the next one, and I want to have enough time to actually do that. All right, guys, thank you.